Page 15, it says a power can also be raised to a power. So let's look at this worked example. The exponential expression 4 squared to the power of 3, or 4 squared cubed, is a power to a power, right? So it can be written as two repeated multiplication expressions using the definition of a power. So 4 squared cubed is 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared. So it's going to be 4 squared is the same thing as 4 times 4. 4 squared is 4 times 4. 4 squared is 4 times 4. So we can say that there are 6 factors because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fours. So there are 6 factors of 4. So let's do these questions together. So we have 8 squared, and that's being cubed, right? 8 squared is being raised to the power of 3. That means it's going to be 8 squared times 8 squared times another 8 squared. So 1, 2, 3, because it's being raised to the power of 3. That means 8 squared is the same thing as 8 times 8, right? Another 8 squared is times it by 8 times 8. Another 8 squared is 8 times 8. And so we can say that there are 6, so when you add them up, or when you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 6 factors of 8. Okay, so moving on to B, we have 5 to the 4th power squared. 5 to the 4th times 5 to the 4th power being raised to the 2nd power is 5 to the 4th times 5 to the 4th power. So we can say that 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 for the first parentheses, and another set, the same thing. We can see there are 8 factors of 5 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 factors, or 8 fives. For C, it's going to be negative times 6 to the 1st power to being raised to the 6th power. So we're going to have a negative out in the front. Notice how the negative was not part of the parentheses, so we're just going to have it out in the front. And 6 being raised to the 1st power is the same thing as 6, just the regular 6. And that's going to be raised to 6th power. That means we're multiplying 6 times. Okay, so it's going to be 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 sixes. So there are 6 factors of 6. Same thing for this. It looks confusing, but if you just take a look, piece by piece, we have negative 6. The innermost parentheses number would be negative 6 being raised to the 2nd power. That means negative 6 times negative 6. So that's going to be negative 6 squared being raised to the power of 2. So negative 6 squared times negative 6 squared. Okay, so take a look at this one, and it's being raised to the 2nd power, so we write it twice. So negative 6, it's in the parentheses, so we have negative 6 times negative 6 for the first part, times negative 6 times negative 6 for the second part. And we know that there are 4 factors of negative 6. So what relationship do you notice between the exponents in each expression in question 5 and the number of factors? We can say the number of factors is the product of the exponents in each expression. So if you take a look at this, 8 squared being raised to the power of 3, and there are 6 factors. So notice how since the power was being raised to another power, we can say that 8, so if we rewrite it, it's going to be 8 to the 6th power because 2 times 3 is 6. And same thing for B. There were 8 factors of 5. That means it's 5 to the 8th power. And C is going to be 6 with a negative out in the front to the 6th power. And D would be negative 6 in the parentheses to the 4th power. So so we get the exponent by multiplying these two powers. So when the powers are being when the powers are being raised to another power, we multiply the exponents. So 2 times 3 was 6, that's why it's 8 to the 6th power. So we keep the same base. Same thing for this, keep the same base, 5, and multiply 4 times 2, which is 8. So we've got 5 to the 8th power. So we have a rule right here. To raise a power to a power, keep the base and multiply the exponents. So mathematically, it would look like this. So a being just a base, right? It's a base number with an exponent being raised to a power of something. We keep the base and we multiply these two exponents.